I'm not. All ties in. It is a must-have read for students. Sonia Bennett is the author of How Smart Are You? It's a book for reasoning and problem solving, and I was looking through a while ago, and apparently I'm not so good at either. Morning, Miss Sonia, how are you?
Good morning, I'm good, thanks.
All right, so this book was published in 2017. Essentially, you go through, you have, well, I'll have you describe it, because I don't really know how to put it all together under one heading. Describe this book for us.
Well, it's a book that is focused on children at 10 and over who are preparing for exams like the PEP. The content ranges from qualitative thinking, reasoning, logical thinking, verbal reasoning. It starts, it scaffolds from lower level items at what we call the level 1 up to about level 3. So it scaffolds in terms of the levels of challenge and complexity.
So I was looking at some of the examples a while ago, the questions, and you saw me struggling. Thank God I'm not doing PEP, but my daughter will be at some point. There's some parents who will look at this book and immediately start to get hives and anxiety and all the rest of it. But this is where we're headed.
Yes.
Critical thought is a key component.
Exactly.
So this is what this book aims to do.
And this is where the ministry is focusing now on critical thinking and high order thinking.
Yeah.
And when we started, as you know, I'm a publisher. I'm with Carlong Publishers. And when we started to look at the material that's out there and looked at where the ministry was going, the idea that we needed to provide more practice for the students in those kinds of questions prompted the
What was it like putting this book together?
A lot of research.
I can only imagine, because when I look at the range of items and the types of questions, must have taken quite a bit of work.
It took quite a bit of work. My husband and I wrote it together.
Really?
Yes. And
did that bring you closer together, or I don't know? Yes. Tell me about that experience.
It was great. There are some items in here that I learned when I was working with him. That I had to say, wow, I didn't know that. And then there's the other side of it in terms of, as an educator, what I know that where the children have to go, the levels at which they have to go.
Yeah. How much of an adjustment, Ms. Sonia, will this be, given where they are? We figured out there's a gap between where they are now and where they're headed for PEP and exams of this nature. How much of a jump is it going to be, and do we have the necessary tools now outside of books like these that will help them to be able to bridge that gap? Well,
what I know about PEP is that the ministry is preparing the teachers to move the students from where they are now, because the focus has always been on information. Now they want them to focus on how you use that information. And so it's going to be challenging for some, but it's going to be exciting for others. It will take some amount of, of reading and practice and processing. And that is why they need material like this and the other materials that are available for them to practice and practice.
So this is a workbook. Is this going to be introduced into the school curriculum, or is this going to be something
No, this is a supplementary book that the parents can pick up. We're hoping that the ministry will look at it and, find...
Why wouldn't they? If this will help to move in that direction, then...
I don't know. Well, they'll look at it and to see whether or not it is a book that they can recommend for the book list. But it's not a book that the ministry would necessarily put on an approved list, but it's a supplementary book. And it's interesting. It's out
there now, right?
It's in the stores. It's in the stores. It's in Sangsters and so on. And what we find is that a lot of adults like it.
They're telling me, Sonia, send me a go through book and realize I have some brushing up to do. It's very serious. But this can actually teach us as well.
Yeah, if you just have it in your hand and sit somewhere and go through it, you'll be surprised how many things.
What kind of feedback have you been getting from folks who are using it?
Well,
so far?
The feedback is is through what we see in terms of the sales of it, and a lot of people have been picking it up. A lot of people have been picking it up.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so where is it available?
It's at the Sangster's bookstore and other bookstores.
And what is the hope? What is the hope when parents and kids, because either group can look in this book and say, teachers can use this in extra lessons?
Exactly.
So many uses. What is it? What is the hope for this book? And is there going to be a How Smart Are You Part 2 and other?
There's going to be a How Smart Are You Part 1 for the children who are younger than 10, because the way the ministry has scaffolded and spiral the curriculum is going to mean that the students will have to start from earlier to begin to internalize how they, or you know, how they process information. And we need a How Smart Are You after that for the children who are in grade 7. Well, as a matter of fact, this can be used by some of the children in grade 7.
This book is ahead of its time then. It is. It is, because I hear parents and even some administrators saying they're not quite sure where we're going with PEP, and especially the parents. I hear lots of parents in doubt, say their kids are doing it, but they don't have a lot of information.
They don't have a lot of, yes.
This book will certainly give you a clue as to what you can expect moving forward.
Moving forward.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we pick it up at any bookstore?
Yes, but particularly Sangsters.
Okay. It's called How Smart Are You? I challenge you guys to pick it up. It did not make me feel very smart a while ago when I was looking through preliminarily, but it would be nice to sit down. It's good brain activity exercise.
Very good brain activity exercise.
I know Neville sometimes in the morning goes through these games on his phone where you try to put the words together from the clues given. There are some of these in here and a whole lot more. This is a book, How Smart Are You? Reasoning and problem solving. Pick it up, any bookstore, especially Sangsters. Says Miss Sonia. Well done to you and your husband, madam. And we hope there are more books to come in future. Author of How Smart Are You? Sonia Bennett. Anything to say before we go?
Well, one of the things that made me, you know, feel that this book would be good, when we took it to a prep school, when we were in the process of writing it, and we took it to a prep school to have it tested, the kids say, I don't like that book, miss. And the teacher said, why? And she said, we have to think.
You're on the right track.
That reaction made me know that this book was doing what it's supposed to do.
Doesn't that also make you think, no, that we're maybe giving the kids too much?
No, I think because you know, a friend of mine said one of the difficulties his son was having was dealing with worded problems. It's easy for them to say 2 + 2 + 2 = 6, but when you put that in a scenario, in a real world scenario, and ask them, you know, if Simone has this and Sonia has this, and give away that,
yes,
how many are left? They have to think.
So my daughter's on the right track then.
Yes.
All right then. Yeah, that is my homework at daytime, so I understand. All right, folks, that's it for Off the Shelf this week.
Thank you.
Thank you.